Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft, shaking me arms, Mesified server. Mesified, not sure how I feel about that. It's a little bit gloomy at the moment, isn't it? I think the sun is setting, there is a thunderstorm going on, the night is dark and we're standing on all of this gloomy grey clay. I'm not a fan of this clay right here. Anyway, we are over at Iscal's area to start off this episode because there's some things I want to show you over here. And this episode's going to be a little bit jumbled up because last time I was recording with Rendog and I'd actually already recorded a portion of an episode which I decided to ditch. So I've got a few things to show you from that, which is going to involve some, oh well there we go, one hit kill. some villagers is what it's going to involve. And as well as that, I'm also later on in this episode going to be starting construction of my base, which I'm sort of nervous about because I've found a build style. It's going to be big and extravagant. I'm also expecting for it to polarize the opinions. Some people will love it, some people will hate it, and we'll get into that in a moment. I wanted to come down here and mention a couple of things while we have a look around Iscal's area. I really like this guy's building style, and this bit over here, absolutely fantastic. It's very obvious what it is. I don't really need to say. You've got a crane and a mine down here. But this reminds me of some of the things we did in the Creative Inspiration series. When I say we toured around. There are often things like this that I see on my creative server, play.xisumavoid.com, when I go on there and fly around and look at what people have been building. Things like this are quite common, and this is the first time I've seen it done in survival mode, so there's no micro blocks everywhere for extra detail, and man, Iscal did a fantastic job of this. And I love the lighting. Apparently the lighting is to give the effect of explosions down in the mine shaft, which you can see from up above. I also love that this goes back and forth. What's inside the chest? Let's put in a spider eye. If ever Iscal opens it, he'll be like, where did that spider eye come from? But we'll know. Anyway, as we head back up top here to have another look at it, I do want to mention that my second channel, I have a second channel here on YouTube. It hit 25,000 subscribers recently, which is a nice little milestone to hit. I want to say thank you to all of you for subscribing, and if any of you aren't subscribed, basically the second channel is linked to my live streams. After I live stream, I will upload that live stream to the channel, so extra long videos on there, and also UHCs as well. Whenever I play a UHC, I upload it to the second channel, unless it's a Hermitcraft UHC. So there might be a UHC on there soon if that interests you. But the other thing I wanted to mention is with the streaming that I'm going to be doing a lot of Hermitcraft streams. So I always post a video here on YouTube when I do that. If you follow me on Twitter, it will get announced there. Just if you want to be involved and watch those things, I thought I'd let you know. Anyway, I'm now going to cut to a little bit of footage. Well, actually, no. We're going to head back over to my base first of all. And of course, it's probably obvious, the links to the live stream, the second channel, all that stuff is in the description box if you are interested. We are now back at the base, and this over here is the ideas board. I talked about this at great length in some of the footage that I decided to scrap, and we're going to touch on it briefly. Basically, this season what I want to do is start lots of projects and not focus on finishing them immediately, because what we've tended to do is quite linear in the past. We start a project, we work on it until it's finished, and then we move on to something else, and I want to do things differently this season. So we'll talk a bit more about what else is on this board in the future, but basically I'm outlining my ideas, and what I've got to show you is that we set up a portal to another mesa, and also next to that mesa was a desert biome that had some villagers in, so I decided to bring the villagers back because one of the things we want to do is set up a villager breeding machine. We want to set up automatic farms so we can get all the crops from them, and then we want to trade with those villagers to get ourselves mending books, which are going to be very powerful, and that will then lead to, you know, opening a shop to sell the mending books. Now I don't want to do this, you know, in 1 or 2 episodes. I want it to stretch out and be a little bit more natural. So we started off by doing a few things. Going to cut to these clips in a moment, but just so you know that what's going on, there is another mesa biome the opposite of this ocean, and in the middle of that ocean is our spawn island with the spawn chunks, and we decided to settle down on this island over here, and we could have so very easily chosen the land on the other side because it's pretty much the same side. It's another massive mesa continent, and over there there's a desert as well, which is where I decided to set up the portal. So that's the mining mesa. If anyone wants to go digging up red sand or clay, which you can also get over here if you go underground, then that's the place to do so. And I've now set up a portal for that. But anyway, let's cut to some of the footage, which was in the episode that I sort of half scrapped, but it's now partially in this one. Look at what's over here. Ha! See, I had an idea. I thought I'd put the portal, which is up there, the far side of the mesa, so that's the direction of where we were before, where the little hermit area is. And I've been digging up some sand actually while I was over here, and popped over into the desert part. And there's actually a village here as well. Now my plan was to make a different nether tunnel going to one of the villages that we'd already visited. So not only do we get the opportunity to raid again, we can get a lot of villagers from here as well. And the distance between the portals isn't very, or you know, back over there isn't very far away. However, if we were to put another portal here, it might synchronize with the one in the nether, which would be very convenient. Or I might have to travel up there and build another one in the roof. Hey, you're inside, that's good. Stay in your houses, peeps. Apparently I can't put blocks here. That kind of makes sense. I imagine their hitbox is slightly outside of the wall. You going inside? Feel like going inside? I can nudge you in there. Oh, I can't actually because I'm holding down shift. That's something you can't quite do anymore in 1.9. Go on, get in there. Let's make sure you're nice and safe. Oh, look at this right here. That's where the door spawned for this building. I just walked around it. There's a massive cave entrance right there. And this villager's even been trying to open his door. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. And he doesn't accidentally walk out of here. So I don't think there's a blacksmith, but there are plenty of villagers. And most of them are safe for the most part. Not seen any librarians. Aha! Now we have. This guy might have a mending book. We just don't know. Of course, we've got to set up some other farms to find out as well. Luck of the sea. That's what you got at the moment. Yeah, so I'm just going to hang around here and secure these guys. And set up a nether portal and see if we can get them back nice and easy through the nether. If you played 1.9 at all, you'll know all about this. Yeah, mobs are very difficult to pick up in minecarts, and this is one of those things that they didn't address it because they now nudge things away from them, so it takes a little bit longer to get them inside. This is going to be quite tedious. Hi, don't go anywhere. No, 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 no. Why can't I place the block? Oh no, now there's two of them. I don't want them running around. This is the first villager I'm picking up, by the way. I'll get a few of them through here, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So we will soon be getting to some building, but I've got some more clips of the villagers to show you, and we're heading over here to check out a little collaborative build between Wells Knight and Tango. I think Wells did all the aesthetic stuff here, and Tango's done like the technical side of the farm. And it's called Tango's Triple Terrorizer Tenderizer. What an awesome name! He's got 3 different mob spawners. I think there's a cave spider, a skeleton, and a zombie. And I want to use this thing. We need a decent XP farm. You see, the fishing is alright, but it's not great for trying to get some really good armor, which is exactly what I want to do. Now, this, by the way, is really, really nice. It's got a very kind of sinister vibe to it in a way, but it's nice and well lit, so it is fairly soft and bright as well. This is it right here. This is the farm. It is really cool. I don't think it's 100% finished, and I can see that there isn't any enchanting stuff here. Now I am, for some reason today, very, very prepared because I've come down here with the means to make an ender chest, and I've brought with me all the enchanting stuff. I've even brought some lapis. Now, usually when... oh, there's one down there. Usually when I go to enchant, I forget to bring lapis with me, but we're doing good here. Now, without Silk Touch, you can't really move this, so hopefully this isn't going to be in the way in any way, because what have we got? Yeah, all 3 things are there, so putting it over on this side should be good, and I'm going to put the enchanting table down here, so the bookshelves will go underneath that. And yeah, I'm going to try and get up some good armor, because we need to fight the Wither at some point. We've got 2 skulls, we'll get a 3rd one soon, and we need to be preparing for that. And by the way, these 36 diamonds right here, we made 3 sales at the shop. You see, 12 diamonds for each, and the shop has been stocked up. I think it's got 8 bows at the moment, so be sure to tell the other hermits that they can get an amazing bow from my shop. But these diamonds are going to come in very well for enchanting some full diamond gear. So while you're watching these clips of the villagers, that's what I'm going to be working on. So far, this has been alright. They're a little bit stubborn to get in there, but the rest of the process is real nice and easy, thanks to this right there. Looks like I accidentally broke a block last time. So you can just stand down here, break the minecart. Now this guy wants to head in that direction. It took me a while to get him in the minecart. Looks like he's going to continue doing that, which means it's actually going to be quite hard to nudge him through. So some of the other ones haven't been so stubborn. They've just sort of stood here and I've been able to push them straight in. And on the other side I've cleared out a little bit of space. It's synchronized to the one that we had already put in the roof of the nether. Okay, that's good. I don't want you guys really walking back into the portal, but hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue. So up there is my tunnel, but the thing is, when I go back through here, it synchronizes with a different portal. Now I'm glad that I did this, because that made me realise that some of them could come out back here if they were to accidentally get nudged through. So we need to make sure that this portal is very secure. So blocks around both sides, and over on this side we'll add a ladder as well. That's the way that we get in and out of these things without the villagers doing so, because they can't climb ladders. And I did a whole myth busting episode on this, and for those of you, well, I can't remember, for those of you that can remember if they did or they didn't, a lot of people were speculating that certain mobs could, even though I showed that they couldn't in the video. When you nudge or push mobs onto ladders, like intentionally, they can effectively climb it to some extent, but they don't climb it with their AI. So a villager isn't going to look at that ladder and go, aha, and exit, and climb up it and then jump out of here. That's what they can't do. And the same goes for many of the other mobs that we tested in that video. Alright, we got a good crowd of these chaps. I'm sure something is going to happen to them at some point. So we got a lot of them. Now we need to transport them back. And I think I'm going to have to invest a little bit of iron into some more rails, because this is all I got at the moment, just a stack. And it's not enough for the journey. We want to sort of get them all there in one go. But at least the Nether's going to be a little bit safer than the overworld, you know, because of zombies. Anyway, it's kind of stuff you've seen time and time again. I'll crack on with it and get them over to our base. They just go round and round. And round and round. Oh. Oh, but sometimes they change direction. Look at these guys. Oh, fantastic. As you can see, getting every single one of them into minecarts first, because if I open up an exit, they'll probably try and get out of here. Look at that. I forgot how many of them there were in total. They've come well and truly off the tracks. Yes, they have. Yeah, they've been sort of bobbing back and forth and pushing themselves up the tunnel while I've been trying to push them down. And this, of course, makes sense. So we're going to send them through this portal over here. And I've got something cool to show you on the other side. Well, I forgot we'd have to be doing this again. And I can't go up there. Please don't be lava. Nope, there's no lava. And, yeah, got to nudge these guys through. But we're pushing them through this portal here. I've actually disabled the one in the purple area. We're going to go through. You'll see that I've made a temporary portal above a place where we're going to stash these guys. And it's part of an experiment. Ha, here we are. Let's nudge you down there. Do you take full damage is a good question. Nope, excellent, I got it just right. And yeah, this is a little cage that I've set up for these guys just between my area over there and the centre of the purple district. So the plan is to store them here temporarily, to put down some lights. There's already half slabs for the floor. I'll make a half slab ceiling when we're done moving them. And then zombies should be attracted to these guys. So we're going to store them here temporarily until we're ready to use them. But zombies will come to them, and that's why I built it off of the ground, because I want to try out that trap where basically you have a little bit of water around here, so the zombies sort of march in looking at the villagers, they get pushed into the water, they get pushed into lava, and you got yourself like a mob drop grinder, something like that. I mean, what, you're going to get rotted flesh, but I figured I haven't done that before, let's give that a try. And I also might like inquire to one of the other hermits to build something pretty around this as well. So leave the cobblestone box intact, but then on the outside build like a little building, you know, on some supports and have it a nice little roof. And it could look pretty cool. Doesn't have to look, you know, all horrible and ugly and temporary. So I'm yet to get that set of diamond armor that we need. We also need a diamond sword as well. And I think it's been nerfed because, oh yeah, this is the thing I'm doing, by the way, throwing away the enchanted ones, because then we can get the unenchanted items and we can use them instead of crafting, you know, various items to refresh the enchantment. But just have a look at this. Do you agree with me? Well, finally Smite 4 comes up. Of course, I'm recording now. I kept getting Smite 3 and I didn't get very good enchantments on my armor either. By the way, of course, we need Smite to fight the Wither because it's an undead mob. So hopefully I'll be able to make that Smite 5 with Unbreaking. But in general, these enchantments didn't feel very good, and I also didn't get a lot of options either, and I can't help but feel it's been slightly nerfed in this update. But there you go, we've got some goodies. I've got loads of books back at base, so I'm trying to get my XP levels up here as high as I can for some anviling, which is one of the things that I don't think they really thought about when they rebalanced XP and enchanting, because that is still obviously very expensive. But anyway, this farm is amazing, and look, I got a diamond helmet from it as well, which is pretty cool. So since our last clip, I've done a live stream, and I got some terrific news here. Wrong chest, let's look in the right chest. There you go. We've got our third Wither Skull. We are sort of all ready to fight the Wither almost. And over here we've started to get some of the armour sorted out. So I've been using the books that I have, and I had 2 Fawns 2 books. You can actually combine them and get Fawns free. And I think I've discussed this before. When they first added Fawns, I was pretty sure that 2 was the highest level that it could go to, but apparently it is free, and now we've got that, and Smite as well. So my thinking here is that every time the Wither attacks us, there's a possibility of it taking damage, which would be a very bad thing if we were to fight lots of Withers at once, which is something we've done in the past, but we'll be taking just the one on for now. And as well as that, we're brewing up potions. So slowly gearing towards fighting the Wither. It may even be the next episode that I decide to do that. But who knows? Anyway, we're going to move on to building the house now. I need to just grab something quickly for this beginning bit that we're going to do, which is just some lapis. And I've been preparing up all of the materials, getting ready to build, and now I feel quite nervous because I know that when I go and build outside, I polarize opinions. When I do my underground building and stuff, that's usually fine. However, when I go outside and try and build structures, I get a lot of opinions about it. But I just like what I've come up with, and I know that not everyone is going to like it, but I think it's important that I just sort of follow my instinct and my own inspiration for this build. And as you can see, I've marked out like where the corners of this entrance are going to go. So we can get rid of the cobble. This is just going to be in the way now. This is sort of our plot border for our build. And this is going to be the first part of a patchwork of builds that are all going to focus around colourful roofs. Let's say that. So I want to put little details in. Not everywhere, but things like that. Just add a tiny bit of detail. And we need some acacia logs. I've got some spruce leaves, by the way. That's going to be for scaffolding. And then we can use our shears to pick them back up again. Or just break them. But there you go. That's what we're going to use to like climb up and down. So, when I first built this, the whole thing was a little bit small. And I'm just trying to see how tall it is. 1, 2, and then I think there's another log here with some spruce stairs in front of it. So yeah, the whole thing was just a little bit short, and thanks to doing things in creative first, I could select a giant area, and when I say creative, I mean on a different server. and then I could shift it all upwards, and I moved it up by a couple of blocks, and it just looks so much better. It made a huge difference to the build to make this thing taller. So this is going to be the front. We're going to have grey, and the colours we're going to mix it with are brown and purple, believe it or not, which is why we've got some of this blue stained clay over here. It is very purpley. We've also got some purple stained clay, which is even more purpley. Anyway, this stuff's going to go on the sides, and then this will go up in the middle. We don't need these blocks here. And by the way, what we're building today is the entrance to our building, and there's not really much room on the ground floor for any extra rooms. However, on the top floor, there will be space for rooms, and they're not sort of project-size rooms, which is something we got to accommodate for later on. And it makes me wonder what exactly we're going to put in them. But we have, lots of reasons to get creative then if we're going to try and do something we haven't done before. I've been recording this entire thing with the bow in my offhand, and it takes up a lot of screen space, and I'm wondering if some of you are really liking that or not. I'm expecting to see some take the bow off the offhand comments down below. Aha, and we need some more spruce to bridge across that gap. And I was just looking at it, it's now like the 10th slot in your hotbar. We've always said we needed more slots in the hotbar for building. You're ever shuffling around in your inventory, and we've kind of got that. However, I feel like, the sword and the bow are taking up space, and I don't think I'm going to be like unexpectedly attacked here. The area is well lit up. We've got our bed nearby, so we can make it today in a second. So I'm just going to shuffle these across. But we're just, building this thing up. Let's get the acacia back, and I'll show you what you're going to see next, which is the introduction of more brown through this dark oak. Alright, there we go. That's the colour theme basically right there. There's going to be a lot more colour by the time we're finished, but brown, grey and purples. And I know they're probably not the most appealing of colours together, but that's sort of what we're going for here, and we're going to have an archway in the middle, which is probably the next bit I'm going to build. So I'll build it up a little bit further here, but at this point I'm expecting to see some polarized opinions. But like I said, I'm really stoked about this build, so I'm happy to go with what I'm happy with. Oh, it's starting to happen. I can see something going on down below. And this is why we need our bow. Do you know what it was? It was thunderstorming a moment ago, I think, or it's just night time at the moment. Oh, wait a minute, where are they going? Are they finally... Oh, they finally spotted the villagers. No, they haven't. I was going to say, the entire time that's been there, I'm yet to see a single zombie get gathered underneath, which has been quite remarkable. Possibly a sign that they changed something in 1.9, but unlikely. This area is now actually pretty well lit up. But we have our first visitors by the looks of it. And if we pop down here, you can see some more of the build now. It's getting taller, and what you're seeing right there is sort of the contour line of where the roof is going to go. However, it'll get a little bit taller up the top, and you can see that there are some windows here, and they're going to have glass panes in eventually. And right now it looks pretty moody. I think we should sleep in the bed and make it daytime. However, like I said, it was thunderstorming. Means we might not be able to sleep. That's something I'm still working on. I can hear a spider nearby as well. And now time should at least be advancing. Bam, there we go. Excellent. The spider's made his way up top. Get off of my build. Yeah, another thing we need to do is light this thing up eventually. And I'm going to try and focus on having the lights inside and it providing enough light for these little ledges and stuff. So yeah, I don't need to talk about it too much. That's it. Have a look at it. Make up your mind. I'm going to build a lot more of this, and then we'll probably be moving on to the roof next, which is going to be very, very big. Man, look at that giant pick right in my face there. Is that normal? I know you can see your own body, but the pick was right in my face then. Anyway, one of the things that's going to make this build look a little better at the moment is some depth, which we don't really have, so I decided the next thing is to work on the inside and the sides as well, which I'm yet to design, but I got something sort of rough that works. And it started to make me think that perhaps one of the things that could have made this better is to not just turn at a right angle here. You see it just sort of goes, like, although there's depth, it goes back a little bit, it pops out as well. It's like a flat wall, and then it goes flat in that direction here as well. And maybe what I should have done is made it like come out a little bit, curve across, and then go down. But that's something we can try later on. Hopefully I'll remember that, because that would be an interesting challenge. So this is sort of unfinished, and that's just a framework, and I started to build it over on this side, and then I saw that the landscape was going to get in the way. So I was wondering, what is it we're going to do here? Because I'd want to replace this block with that, and then in order to see what we've got going on over here, this is from some temporary tree farming, by the way, and we're going to have to shuffle the landscape down. And what I might want to do is move the next part of my building up, so where the landscape goes up, it goes up as well. And I think that's going to be more challenging and more fun to do than to flatten everything out. And it's one of the reasons I picked this spot as well. I liked that there was a hill here going up. I thought, if we build something over here, it would be fun to attach it to our main building, which is, again, along the theme of sort of like a patchwork build where all these other little buildings join together. Then keeping this right here is probably a good thing. So for the sake of the interiors, I think that we should do this and put our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks in a row, and then have this here. But at this point, it's starting to get buried a little bit in the land, and I think we'll actually keep it like that. We won't bother to put the stairs in front of it. We might not even put a window here because it's not going to be as visible, and we should definitely try and keep that going throughout this build. And yeah, so anyway, right, let me get this wall in place, and then we'll start on the insides. I think the insides is actually going to make it look a lot better, because when you look through, you don't really see any depth, do you? It's just like a facade at the moment, so that'll probably help with the look a lot. Alright, there you go. There's that depth that I was talking about. And as I said, this is going to be an entrance, so it's simply going to link through to a door over here. What sort of door? Maybe a redstone door. And I look at this now, and I think actually we need slabs on the bottom of those as well. Just doesn't look right having the orange exposed. Yes, and when I can reach that one, I'll place it up there. So it's just looking at this, and I haven't really started to work on the interiors yet, but one thing I know I wanted to do was have something dark offset a little bit back here, like that. And then what I'd probably do is put some trapdoors or buttons on it to give it a little bit of detail as it goes up to the top. And then put some armor stands in here, with like iron armor facing you as you walk in, which this early in the game is going to be expensive, so it might not appear immediately. But as you walk down here, having all these different like armor stands looking at you with, you know, like little, I don't know what they're called, but like little sets of armor looking at you. It feels like there should be a word for that. There probably is. Anyway, yeah, this bit right here where we've got the banner going across, I was just looking at it, and initially I quite liked that, and then I thought actually probably what we want to do is have that one step back. Where was it? It was at that height, but back here. And then it will sort of match up with this, like so. And I reckon that going all the way across would look a fair bit better. Yeah, you see that really does need some detail on it. However, with nothing going on back here, there is plenty of space for us to work with. However, this bit is purple because of what's in front of it. Do I have any Well, I've got some blue on me at the moment. I mean, do we want to mix this in with some of this stuff as well? I don't know. There's lots that we could do right here, but the purple has to be right there at the front, so I'm not sure quite how that is going to work out. We could probably get away with that. Maybe just have some stripes going like all the way across. Alright, so it doesn't look so bad. I feel like it is very flat, and we probably need a few more details on the wood, like buttons and trapdoors, and maybe just something up in here because it looks just so flat. But yeah, that's okay. And then on this side over here, I decided to alternate the stripes, except apparently I haven't alternated that bit, and it looks alright as well. But I don't think we're going to settle on that. We'll leave it like that for now. I think what we should focus on next is actually the roof. There's like a few more things I need to do here. Put in some glass panes, and yeah, then I think it's time for the roof, which is going to be a big part of this build. Alright, I've crafted up a lot of blue stained clay. Used a whole stack of lapis for this, and this is going to take up the entire roof. It's going to be very big, colourful, and a talking point, that is for sure. It's also going to be very visible as well. I wonder what the other hermits are going to be thinking of this. But anyway, I want to show you the technique that I used to make this roof, because it's ever so simple. I just started off with a simple bow that goes from one side to the other. So this is it. I think it's like 7 blocks or maybe 9 across the middle. Then we go to 3 and then 2. And that's one thing about building this roof, is that there's going to be a lot of block placing and removing, like temporary blocks. So we have that arc, and from the side, you know, it curves up a little bit at the front and back. And then we copy this over onto the next lane, but we move it up by 1. And that's it. That's the technique right there, literally. But of course, you don't want your roof to just, you know, go at the same angle all the time. So eventually, you then move it over by 2, which is what I think the next bit is. Yeah, it is. So this bit here is going to be a little bit flatter. So it's going to go 2 wide here, and then the same thing will come across going vertical as well. So I'm just going to fill in this segment and show you the overall kind of shape that we're going for. So this would be copied across that gap, and then over here we go 2 again, I do believe. So we'd have a whole segment going 2, and then we have one that goes up by 1. And just imagine that I've taken that shape again, extended it the whole way across, including where it goes up and down at either end, and then it starts to go upwards higher. So this time, although it goes out by 1, it also goes up by 2, and it becomes 2 thick. And then after that, it's like 3 and then 2 again. So we get this really nice sort of curve, and where we're just copying the same thing like in a strip going across the whole way. It makes it just really simple to build a very nice looking roof. So I'm going to just crack on and do this all now, and you'll see exactly what it was I was talking about in a moment. Alright, putting in the last strip here, which is going to be 2 high. And the sun is rising. I built this entire thing in the dark. In fact, we were recording in the dark, which is never a good idea. I've got to like drop down a block here, haven't I? There we go. and yeah, and it reminded me. Oh, now I've fallen down. How annoying. There we go. It reminded me that this thing at night has no form of lighting on it, and I don't know how I'm going to tackle that problem, because eventually I reckon mobs are going to spawn on it like creepers, and they're going to drop down on me and ruin my day, right? So that's something I've got to consider. I don't want to spam down torches, and boy oh boy, I wish by now, you know, 1.9, we'd have some more light sources in the game, because all of them kind of interrupt the build that you're trying to do. Although the light rods from the end might be good. The end rods, what are they called again? Anyway, big reveal. Aha! Doesn't look too spectacular, does it? And that's because the front isn't finished. We're going to arc the front over a little bit further forwards. Oh my, I built the roof wrong and then had to rebuild it, which wasn't too bad because a lot of the blocks are still sort of in the same position, but I had to shuffle it around. And you can see here at the front I've given it sort of a pointy wizard hat at the front there. And oh man, I really like it, but I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And man, this episode is drawn on. We have done so many things. Been doing a lot of building. That right there is not going to stay, believe me. It's supposed to be temporary. I was hoping someone else would be up for building something around it, but you know, everyone's got their own little projects going on, so at some point we'll make that look nicer. It's terrible, isn't it? But that is the first part of our base, and let me know what you think of it with a comment down below. That's going to be it from me this episode. If you have enjoyed it, leave a like on the video. As always, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it, and be sure to check out the second channel if you're interested in seeing the live stream videos. As I said at the beginning, we hit 25,000 subscribers, which was amazing. So thank you to all of you for that, and yeah, hope you're having a great time watching Season 4. That's it from me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.